The way Miguna was removed from Kenya, including details of exactly how it was done, has been shrouded in mystery. So far, we have only had Miguna's word against that of the government of Kenya. There has been no third party to corroborate the information and confirm to us exactly what happened. Well, that changes from this minute, because I have some inside information that will enable us to reconstruct exactly what happened. And we will even cover the first futile attempt to deport Bwana Miguna. In fact, let's start with that one. Now, I don't hold brief for the Emirates Airlines, but Kenyans have been too fast to judge them over what has happened over this Miguna issue, without knowing one very important fact. The usual procedure and rules of aviation are that if you bring an unwanted person into a country, it is the responsibility of that particular carrier that brought them in to remove them. Wajipange, or they do whatever they have to do, but they must remove that person they have brought into that country. And that's how it goes. Usually heavy penalties are imposed on an airline in this particular case. And they are normally given deadlines as to when they must remove that person. Life is just hell for them when they make that mistake or end up in the unfortunate situation whereby they end up bringing in an unwanted person into a nation. And this is precisely the situation the Emirates airline found itself in Nairobi. Now, the really shocking information here is that the government prepared Miguna's deportation well in advance, even as they pretended to be giving him papers to sign, even as they pretended, to put it in their own words, to be doing everything in their power to be able to admit Miguna into the country. Actually, plans were already underway to remove him from the country. And so the Emirates staff knew very well that they were expecting Miguna. The boarding pass had been printed, everything was ready, but Miguna was nowhere to be seen. And so the airline captain called the immigration boss that day at the airport, Mr. Madai, several times, but Mr. Madai was not picking up his phone. And so the doors were closed and the aircraft taxied in readiness for takeoff. But immigration placed a call to the control tower, and the aircraft was recalled. They came back, and still they waited. I can imagine the Emirates guys cussing and saying to themselves, why did we carry this guy? Why did we make the mistake of bringing Miguna to Kenya? Now, in the video widely available on social media of Miguna being pushed onto the aircraft, you can see the staff of the Emirates waiting, rather impatiently. Okay, so we know the rest of the story. He was pushed in, he's created a fracas. I will not go, I'm not going, I will not board. Remember all that shouting. Now, there was a government lawyer who was not captured in the camera, who was making all kinds of threats to the Emirates captain, quoting the rules, but also bullying the captain, telling them what the government can do to him, stop Emirates flights from coming to Kenya, cause a lot of trouble for them. They brought in a persona non grata into the country. How could they? They had to pay for it. They had to make sure that they take this person, etc., etc. But the captain stood his ground. He said, yes, they had done that mistake according to the Kenyan government. However, this person was not documented. He was violent. He was a threat to the passengers in the rest of the aircraft. And Emirates is an international airline. It was not just carrying Kenyans, it was carrying nationalities from all over the world. And these people are going to be, they were being inconvenienced. And it was possible that some of them would sue the airline, etc., etc. And so the tug of war continued as frantic calls were made all over the place. So finally, it was agreed that Miguna gets off the aircraft, and finally, the Emirates aircraft took off. without Miguna. Now, after this first failure to deport Miguna, plans immediately swung into action for the second attempt. Now we understand why his lawyers were not given access to him. The government was very determined. The government had already made a decision. This Kenyan national, this person who was born in Kenya, in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, had to be deported, removed from his country of birth. Today, I can confirm to you that the government managed to get emergency travel documents from the Canadian Embassy in Nairobi. And so this time, they adhered to all the Emirates rules, which could not be broken. And so the expected passenger was in fact documented. And this time, the flight was not delayed because plans were made well in advance. Okay? The whole idea was for Miguna to board first before any other passenger boarded that Emirates flight to Dubai. And again, I can confirm to you, despite the very strong denials from government, Miguna entered that aircraft completely unconscious. He was sedated. The whole place was surrounded by very heavily armed security forces. The small contingent of Emirates staff who were there were given very strict warnings. They were told there's no taking of photographs. In fact, they were not allowed to answer their phones, even if they rang, until the whole operation was over. And all the way to Dubai, they were not supposed under any circumstances to take photographs of Miguna, the unconscious Miguna inside the aircraft. My sources tell me that they were told if anybody breaks those rules, atakula risasi. Yeah, you heard me right. Atakula risasi. Loosely translated, anybody who disobeys those orders will be shot. Now, Miguna is a very heavy guy. He weighs over 100 kgs. And so it took at least 6 people, laboring, to drag him up the stairs into the aircraft. And all this was happening because the whole area was sealed by security forces so that nobody would observe what was happening. They got him onto the aircraft and put him on his seat, unconscious. He was accompanied by 2 men, and today I can confirm their names to you. The names on their passports were Seko Bernard Juma and Joroge Timothy Bogo. And so the rest of the passengers boarded this Emirates flight, and you know the rest of the story. That is Kenya for you. Very, very sad. Somebody left a very interesting comment on this channel, which I agree with 100%. They simply said this: the government seems to make decisions emotionally, and they seem to act emotionally. They would be much better off if they did their things strategically as opposed to emotionally. I say this because Miguna seems to have been one step ahead of the government every step of the way, and this way he was able to very easily thwart their very determined first effort to deport him. That must have really pissed off somebody, and so they were very determined to get the better of Miguna. I can imagine them giving each other high fives and congratulating each other when they heard that Miguna's flight had touched down in Dubai. Or perhaps when they heard that that Emirates flight had cleared Kenyan airspace. I believe that now even Miguna himself will be able to get information that he did not have because he was unconscious. Okay? But what I've narrated here is precisely what happened. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.